going live, by the way.
It's been a day.
We're about
Yeah, all right. No, that's fine. Hey, it was a good day. We got
because then Ben gets mad because then he starts like, oh, did I say that live?
we got another $9,000 a month today, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to be adding $20,000 to $40,000 a month new business every week, and then just stacking it on our referral stuff.
All right, let me share it out to the group.
Frank, definitely. I want to connect you and me and Ben too. That was my business partner. We're 50-50 on the agency here, but to talk more about some of the things we've been starting to discuss with, emojis, chatbots, all that good stuff. Find a way that we can do some stuff together.
Absolutely, man. There's a lot of synergy, and I've got some pretty industrious plans with my content and the material that I have out there, and I'm looking to help out a lot of people, so I think you'll vibe with it.
I love it, man. I love it.
I'm doing emojis right now for my share. I'm sharing this out to people.
Okay, yeah, if you want.
Dude, so we just took a Hail Mary on one of our ad campaigns and literally just slapped in some emojis. We had Eric, one of my guys here, he just put them on there in a couple random spots just to test it because we were kind of like, well, we need to figure something out or else this isn't going to work anymore. So we kind of threw something up as a last ditch effort. See how it goes.
Yeah. I'll definitely take a look at it for you guys if you guys can just send me a screenshot or tag me in it, and I'll be like, all right, cool.
Yeah, we'll connect about some of that stuff for sure, man.
I used your that emoji extension the other day on an ad too.
Yep, it's legit, man. I use them in my chatbots. I use them in subject lines. I use them everywhere, man. They're like internet crack.
Are you running any e-com stores right now?
I have a e-com for women's fashion, and it's going good enough. I mean, like, it's less than a year, and I'm tweaking it to give you some real life numbers. Like December, which is supposed to be pretty big, we made a little less than 30 grand in sales, which, with retail, and you got to deal with all that, and then ad spend and delivery. So I wouldn't like claim I'm an expert. I wouldn't even say I'm talented. I'm dabbling for sure. I'm like, eating my shit in that industry a little bit, but I'm getting better, and I'm keen to the game, and I'm tweaking as I go, but I wouldn't say I'm like the shit at that.
No, hey man, that's 30 grand sales. That's about $29,920 more than I've ever sold through e-com. So I'm always just curious because we're so focused on one thing right now, which is good because we want to scale it. But just curious because it sounds like you're doing a lot, man. So we'll looking to connect. Are we live right now?
Yeah, we are live.
Oh, all right. There we go.
Yeah, we are live, and I did tell you before that we were live.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, what's up, everybody? Shit. People, John, we're going to get some introductions. Ben's going to join us here, it looks like, at some point, right?
Ben's going to keep himself muted and smoke hookah.
Sounds like Ben.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Awesome, everybody. Well, hey, we want to, we're really, really, really excited about this. We're very happy to bring on the talented, what is it? The talented Frank Salas. What's your tagline, bro?
Yo, so I go by the talented Mr. Salas on social media, and I go by the talented one on these streets.
Yes, all right. So the talented Mr. Salas here. He is an absolute beast mode. We did a podcast this morning. I've been getting to know Frank for a while now and absolutely love everything he's doing. He's got some amazing stuff we're going to talk about tonight, some very applicable skills we can start doing right away to help improve our advertising, and just share some things that, I'm still in the process of learning about because, as we always talk about here, there's a million different ways to do things, and you just always want to find out what's working. And Frank's going to share with us some really hot now what's really going in. So yeah, man, with that, Frank, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and we'll go from there.
You got it. So, hey, first and foremost, I've been on the road for 8 months. This has been my first time back in my hometown for longer than a holiday in 8 months. So, like, my dog's going crazy, so he might bark here in a few seconds. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, my name's My name's Frank Salas. I go by the name of Talented Mr. Salas on social media. I am a serial entrepreneur living the digital nomad lifestyle, which means I travel to international cities every 90 days or so. I don't have any of that lifestyle stuff figured out. This is kind of new for me. I've been doing that for 2 years, but I have been in business since I was 20 years old, and I'm 29 now. And I've learned a lot of my marketing tactics, tricks, techniques, habits from my own marketing dollars from my multiple companies in different niches. At this present moment, I am a certified public speaker with Toastmasters. I'm also a franchise consultant, so I help businesses grow and scale. I'm an operations consultant. I have an outsourcing company with headquarters in Colombia, in the Philippines. I'm a licensed realtor in the great state of Texas, and I'm about to get my broker's license, which I've been waiting 4 years for. Thank God. And I'm getting that this year. I love real estate. Real estate really introduced me to wealth and how to really play the game like billionaires do, and that just like opened my eyes up. So I'm nowhere near billionaire status, but that's where my goal is. That's where my intention is every single day. And I encourage everybody to, if you resonate with that message, don't be scared. Live that message, live that dream, because I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about how I came up. And if I can do the stuff that I'm doing right now, you guys can definitely do that, especially if you're a lot younger. I'm 29. Everybody here is in their late 20s, I believe. And, you know, if you're under 25 right now, you got all the opportunity in the world to be in a super huge growing industry. I'm very blessed to be here, and thanks a lot for having me, guys. I really appreciate your show, and I enjoy it, and I watch it all the time.
Wow, that's awesome, man. I'm just blown away. Every time you tell me all the things you're doing, I'm like, dude, how are you doing any of these successfully? But as I've seen on your back end, the way you outsource and automate and set things up and move from niche to niche is just incredible, and something I actually am going to be picking your brain about, like we discussed, and really want to learn more from you on, because that's something that we really want to focus on as well, more automation. But wow, that's quite the resume there, man. That's incredible. So you mentioned something here. Let's just start at the beginning. You mentioned something about getting started, and how you got started and got into this. Talk a little bit about that, man. And I also want to piggyback off the shoot for $1 billion. Why not? That's what I'm doing, man. That's what we're doing. That's why, we love what Frank is. Just might as well go big. We've got every opportunity in the world right now with the internet, with online marketing. The whole world is in transition, and it's waiting for people like us to come in and just grab it by the balls and make shit happen. So yeah, tell us a bit about your history, man, how you got started.
Yeah, man. So my first job was in sales, and I made $1,000 my first week in just 40 hours. And I was like a little ashamed because I come from poverty. For people who don't know my story, I was born homeless. I didn't speak English for 4 years. I lived on a ranch in Mexico with no running water, no electricity. I came to America, went to public school, went to college, and my senior year, I dropped out my senior year of college to start my business. But when I was 18, I got my first sales job, and I made $1,000 in a week, and I just felt really ashamed for receiving that amount of money for that work that I did. And I was selling cell phones inside of Sam's Clubs, and I would like chase soccer moms and like dads and stuff and say, yo, what kind of phone do you have? What kind of phone do you have? Hey, we got caller ID on cell phones now. Let me show you. Let me show you. We got this thing called text message. And I would just like hound them. And I was like Mr. Buy or Die. And I was really good at it. And I didn't know what I was doing. And so like I was like super shameful because I liked the job. And I went to the business owner and I was like, hey, I think you overpaid me and I really like this job and I think I'm going to be good at it and I want to keep this. So here's a check, just take care of me. It's cool, whatever. And he like starts laughing his ass off. He's like, you think I overpaid you? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. I never made this kind of money. So he like shows me the computer, and like back then Sprint was paying $500 per activation for their new lines, and I was like getting all the families. I would speak to the Hispanic people. I'd make them laugh. I would, be cheesy, whatever. But it was working, man, and they liked it, and everybody had a good experience with that. So that kind of introduced me to sales, and I always had a sales job throughout college. It got to the point where I was making anywhere from $80,000 to $90,000 per year from 18, 19, and most of my 20th year of life, and then I was going to go to school for my senior year at Texas State University, eat 'em up cats. And this was in July 2008. And I went up to the school and I was going to pay cash, 30 grand. Like, would I bust my ass off, selling cell phones. And then I just thought to myself, like, man, this is a lot of money. And I'm just going to get a piece of paper and I'm going to go try to get a job doing something else. Like, I'm already making more than most jobs are offering now. Like, where do I go from here? I just kind of felt really stuck. And I tried to ask other people for help and like advice, but I didn't have anybody in my network that maybe understood the talents that I had and the capability and the potential. So I just said, you know what, man, I don't need to look at anybody else. Like, this is my life. I'm going to take charge. I'm going to make this thing happen. And I was raised right to treat people with respect. And I got enough confidence in myself that I'm going to figure this out. So I dropped out of school. Everybody was like, what are you doing? You're a failure. You're doing so good and blah, blah, blah. And you had this awesome job. And, you know, they just didn't understand it. And like, instead of justifying what I was doing, I was just kind of like, why don't I just do what I do? And then people kept on asking me, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And like, they still ask me that now. And I'm like, oh yeah, I take selfies all day, or, you know, I go get haircuts, or I get massages, I go get facials, I just travel. Like, I don't really tell people what I do, because if I broke down what I said, most people think I'm lying. Most people think that I'm bullshitting or whatever. And it's just like, it's just not a fun conversation most of the time to have.
Wow, that is an incredible story. I actually didn't even know some of that. I love it, man. I mean, just the work ethic and the grind. I mean, I didn't realize you came from such humble roots either. I mean, I love hearing that. It just goes to show that, you know, especially where we are with the opportunity we're blessed to have, especially here in the States. A lot of people take that for granted. You've actually traveled a lot, so you can probably add a lot more than I can here. But the opportunity we have, we can do anything. And you basically did what me and Ben, our favorite quote ever is, and like one of the things that we live by, and that's you burn the fucking boats. You know, like we talked about this morning in your pod, but you didn't go to that senior year of college. You're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna, you know, go for it. You know, you recognize you saw an opportunity and you made it happen. We can relate to that. I know that when I was working in professional sports, and I remember when I quit there, it just blew everyone's mind because, you know, I had outsold everyone on staff by 40%. And, you know, was getting primed to be the next manager. And they were just like, couldn't believe it. They're like, you're going to go move to I was living in Florida on a beach. And they're like, you're going to go move to fucking Utah. And, you know, I got some of the same pushback that you did. Like, what the hell are you going to do in Utah? And you're going to go work this one thing. And I'm like, man, I got a dream, a vision, you know. And, yeah, Ben hates it, but he fucking lied to me. Utah sucks. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's some good stuff.
That's fucking awesome, and it's made you more money than you ever have seen in your life. So
just relax. But yeah, so Frank, I love that, man. And also, it's very important. You bring up a great point there that, you know, surrounding yourself with the right type of people. You know, you talk to some people. If I tell certain people that, hey, I want to make $1 million this month, they're like, oh, fuck, bro. Like, what are you talking about? You know, and like some of those conversations, it's so important to have the right network around you. So let's see here. You mentioned quitting your year, and then you got into real estate, right? Like, let's talk about the jumps to, you know, real estate, and then, you know, how you got into, you know, a little bit about what you do now.
So, you know, I'm 29 now. I started my first business when I was 20, and I got into real estate at 26. I wish I would have gotten into it sooner because I fell in love with it. But I want to tell you a little bit about my first business. It was a spray tanning business. I'm Mexican, by the way. So white people used to pay me to have them look like me. I mean, that was the thing for a little bit. And it was just like, it just blew my mind. And in that business, my first month, I had a little bit of cash, you know, instead of taking that money to Texas State, I put it into my business. And I met this guy. I'll never forget him. He worked at Valpak, and I hate Valpak because of this guy. And this guy just saw a kid who was 20 years old, and he was telling me about, oh, you should market. And like, he signed me up for like $5,000 for a one-time mail out to a zip code. Nobody even called on that. That was my entire marketing budget for like the year, basically. And I woke up the next day and was like, man, I've got to figure this out, and I've got to figure this out pretty damn quick because things are going pretty not so good. So, you know, fast forward for the first 6 months, I lost money, several $1,000s that I didn't have to give out, and I ate once a day, you know, for 6 months, and then months 6, 7, and 8. I ate once every other day, man. I was like super skinny, and I didn't like ask for help, and I was super prideful. And, you know, I come from very humble beginnings. I couldn't like ask my rich uncle for anything because like they were in Mexico and we were sending money to them. You know, it's like it wasn't there, and it was like all on me, and I didn't want to cause a stress on anybody else. And so I kept a lot to myself, and, you know, it was really challenging, you know, on the outside. But honestly, I like that. It's like when you're like playing Tetris and you're winning, and you're at the bottom part of the screen, that's no fun. I have a blast when things are going rapid and you're like, oh, and you just figure it out, man. That's when I feel the most alive. That's when I feel the most powerful. That's when I feel like I have nothing to lose. And speaking of nothing to lose, because I was born homeless, you know, like in all honestly, when I was born on July 27th of 1987, I was born to a single Mexican mom in the late 80s in Texas. So back then, Mexicans, weren't really appreciated like we are now. And I spent my first night on Earth underneath the bridge with a hospital blanket, man. That's all I had, and my coming into the world. So like everybody hears that and they're like, oh, that's so sad, blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's amazing because I don't have anything to lose. This 401k, my dad's name, my family business, all this other stuff, fuck that, dude. I don't have anything to risk because I'm playing with the casino's money until the day that I fucking die, man. Straight up. And I'm all in.
Yes, dude, I love it, man, because I actually, not that I can relate to being, homeless and stuff like that, but I had a lot of issues in my early 20s, with drugs, getting arrested, failing places, just some bad shit. When you get that deep and that low, at least from my experience, it definitely makes the problems of today seem like nothing. It's like, dude, no big fucking deal. We should just be blessed to be here. So I love hearing that because as much as, struggle sucks, but struggles makes you who you are. It makes you a much stronger person. And I love the Tetris analogy. Dude. I got mad ADD. I need shit going on 24/7. Like I can't sit still. I don't watch TV and stuff. Like I always got moving around. So I thought that was fucking great because I can absolutely relate to you. And I think we already talked about this, but dude, my birthday is July 20th, 1987. So same, right around the same time frame too. That's awesome. So trying to figure everything out, advertising. Then let's talk about, let's start transitioning a bit into, some of the things we want to go over tonight with Messenger, chatbots, some outsourcing, some of those things. So how'd you go from, real estate to figuring it out? And talk a little bit about some of that stuff.
Yeah, so I went into real estate. I grew up that spray tanning business very, very well. We went to 2 corporate locations. We were in the hottest spots in Dallas, in the Fort Worth area, my hometown. And I just got to the point where I was like, man, I need a new game. I got AD&D like my boy Nick, and I got to play a new game. I moved to Austin with no plan at all. I talked to my best friend. He's like, yo, I'm busy, but you can crash on this girl's couch. So I crashed on this girl's couch for a few days, and I just like pick up the paper, and I see Austin real estate rising. I was like, I can sell homes. So I get my real estate license. I start shopping brokers, and then I start getting down that path, and I got addicted real quick, man. The money's so good, and I was so good at it. And I got like so deep into that world that it was so hard to get away because I was making so much money, but it was a job. I wasn't a business owner. I was a realtor, and I had to go unlock doors on Fridays and Saturdays and weekends. And I was answering phone calls at brunch when I should have been hanging out with my friends and enjoying my mid 20s and, late 20s. And I just didn't like that. So, fast forwarding a lot, I was having a lot of success, but I was making a living. I was making a living selling homes, and I wanted to make a killing. I was put on this earth. I was destined to make a killing. So on July of 2015, instead of enjoying our birthday month, Nick, what I did is I put on my calendar that I was going to hustle my butt off that month, and I'm going to make as much money as I can because on October 1st, I am no longer a residential realtor. I'm going to be figuring something out so I can travel the world, so I can be an international man of mystery, so I can have fun, so I can do all these things that I wanted to do. Because when I was a kid, I always wanted to have businesses all over the world. Like I just saw it every single day. We live next to this private airfield called Meacham Airport where John F. Kennedy landed before he was assassinated. And like I would remember just nights looking out the window and just seeing planes fly down. I would just visualize Salas, 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 just nonstop. And like I would tell people that, and people would like laugh, and they're like, "Oh, that's so funny," blah blah blah. But I was serious, man. I'm still serious about that. I still do it every time I see a plane. I just visualize that because I know that's what's coming for me, and I manifest it. And for those of you guys who listen to that, and that might sound a little crazy to you, you haven't ever changed your neurological pathways. You haven't ever had a reality perception. You never had a paradigm shift. You never gone down these paths and done some inner work on yourself. And I strongly encourage you to.
Yeah, man, we're going to be able to talk a lot about that stuff too. Ben knows I'm into that shit as well. All of that. I love it. That's awesome. So made the decision to get away. So work in real estate is a job. I know I saw some of your CMAs today that you're showing on some of the back end. And so now then you start working on outsourcing, figuring what was the next step when you moved and traveled. I mean, talk about, what you did in October and, how you figured it out.
So, I do a whole bunch, and we're pressing fast forward through a whole bunch of things. I've been outsourcing since, when I first started my business. I didn't have the money to hire expensive, lazy Americans, very honestly, and I needed to hire overseas. And so I outsourced everywhere, and I got involved with the Philippines, and I've been working with them exclusively. I now have added Colombia into my mix, and I'm growing that because I'm, getting more connections, and the world's getting smarter and technology is getting more stable, and there's more competition and there's more options now. So, when it comes to my businesses, and I kind of showed you my process a little bit, I always love to build the business. Like, I enjoy the creation of that business. I like that. But once I kind of figure that game out, I'm like, well, what else is new? So in order to make that profitable and worth my time, I build systems, processes, and SOPs around that, so I can remove myself from that business. So we have an actual machine, and I can count on things being done, processes being done the same exact way that I would done. Because I'm sure all of us has all these like really specific and tedious things that we do, but that's all in our brain. And if that's in your brain, you have a knowledge-based business, and you need to put it on paper and have protocols and an employee handbook so you can go to a systems-based business. Because with a systems-based business, number one, it's worth more. Your agency that you're building, you could sell it. Like, look, you don't need to run it, Mr. and Mrs. Investor. Just buy it from me. It's worth this much. We got these many clients. I don't need to be there. I don't need to handle this. It's got a sales team, operations, account management. And now you start to get into actual entrepreneurship. And I know like Gary Vee and Ty Lopez and all those other people, they glamorize being an entrepreneur to millennials, and people like don't take the fundamentals seriously. Like, you have to know how businesses operate. You have to know like the different functions of a business and how to organize that. And that's where I'm very blessed to have put in my 10,000 hours in multiple different fields, but one of them is in outsourcing. And once I start a business and put those 10,000 hours in there, because I'm like you, I get really obsessed, then I move on to the next one, and I can just scale companies and move. And that allows me to be very, very versatile at all times.
That's awesome, man. I already thought yeah, dude. I love it. That's so cool. Got so much going on there. Excellent. Balls, you got any questions based on that story before we start jumping into some of the other stuff, man?
Go into the other stuff. So yeah, talk a little bit about the outsourcing process, creating SOPs, the handbooks. What is that structure like? So when you go into a business, let's use the agency model for example. What are you looking at in your business operation that you're going to structure for a handbook to pass on to the next employee?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I talk to the decision maker, and I'm like, how do you guys make money? What's bringing money in right now? What's working right now? Because if I can automate that, I can free you up to do the stuff that you have been neglecting, which is this, and this, and all this. And we start to build an actual company. So first, like all sales, I just have a conversation with them. I say, hey, what's going on? How are you bringing in leads? These are our strategies. Okay, perfect. Show me. And then I ask them, okay, so what happens when you're not here? Who does that? I don't know. Okay, we got to solve that problem. So we account for every one of the business process flows or workflows that are going on there. And then from there, we see of this workflow, what is absolutely necessary for us to document, because when we document that, now we can put people behind that. And now you have a machine, and the machine's going to run itself. And that's a really, really powerful thing to have. Once you have the staff behind it, you do got to train the staff. You do got to onboard them. You got to find them. You got to make sure they're legit. You got to do so much. And then when they're working for you, you got to manage them. Having a virtual team is like having kids. And right now I got 35 kids.
So like most Mexicans.
Nice.
So I mess with Danny Vega all the time. I would say you got like 14 kids.
Dude, I have so there's with me and my family, there's 11 of us. So I have 10 siblings.
My mom, she has like 10 or 11 brothers.
Yeah, so it's average, it's normal.
So yeah, okay, so yeah, you're walking into the business, you're gonna look at all the processes, you're gonna outline everything, record videos. I'm assuming you're doing everything by video, right? The video training, or are you doing manual? Like this is documented in an actual handbook.
Yeah, we're doing documents and handbooks. The reason that you don't want to do video trainings is because softwares and systems and processes change all the time. And let's say one little thing changes, then they're going to watch the video and they're going to be like, moving back and forth between like 10 minutes and 2 seconds and 10 minutes and 5 seconds. And by the time they figure out that that's not matching up, it's like maybe another 2 or 3 minutes has been passed, and they're kind of like, what do I do now? But if you have precisely written instructions and documents in place, you can change them very, very fluidly, and you can say you can show them without a shadow of a doubt, look, I need you to do these 37 and a half steps every single time. They need to be done this way, and these are the checkpoints all along the way. And so for me, using emojis in my ads, I don't do my own ads. I do the creative part, I'm the brain. My virtual assistants are the arms and they're the legs. They execute on my behalf.
So yeah, your ad copy, you're not writing the ad copy. You have your VAs trained up on how you want copy written, like call to action, message, all that stuff.
No, I write it. So I do everything on Trello. So I like to smoke cigars. I like to go do yoga. I like to be around, parks and just be outside and just kind of enjoy my life. Cause I feel like a lot of people in the online game, they're just like always indoors or always like maybe not experiencing what they should be. And I like to be at a coffee shop and I'm a social guy and catch up with my friends and do those kinds of things. So I do it from my phone and I use Trello. That's a free application that I use. And I just put the emojis on there and I do it from wherever I'm at in the world.
Got it. But you're not putting the ad together. You have somebody else taking that and then running it with whatever targeting you want to do.
Yeah. So hold on, got a light turned off real quick. So yeah, the SOPs will tell you, okay, this is how we run an ad. This is how we normally do this. So I have an SOP for everything. So my targeting, I want to talk to your audience about my targeting. A lot of people, they'll say, if we're marketing homes, we're talking about real estate. If we're marketing homes, we're just going to market to everybody in Austin. Well, that's kind of dumb because not everybody in Austin is maybe qualified to buy or sell a home. And even if they are, like, which one is it? Are you marketing to buyers? Are you marketing to sellers? Are you marketing to renters, investors, distressed properties? Like, what are you trying to do? What is your goal? So I run very, very specific campaigns to a hyper-targeted audience. And I'm just going to give you guys my strategy, and it works like this. So I'm going to tell Facebook, and I always niche down 4 levels. I tell Facebook, I want everybody in Austin, Texas, and I want everybody who is a homeowner. And from those people that are homeowners, I want them to have kids. And from those people that are in Austin, Texas, that are homeowners that have kids, I want them to be very liberal. And then I'll make that, and then I'll make the same one and do like very conservative. And I'll have one that says Hillary Clinton wants you to sell your home, or Donald Trump wants you to sell your home, because it's very, very
Yeah.
and that's relevant. And I always run with the video ad. And the reason that I exclusively run with the video ad is because you can retarget based on how long they watch that individual post or individual video at 10 seconds, at 25%, 50%, 75%, 95%, and 100%. So if somebody's watching my video that has very useful information, so the number one thing and my super, super legit pet peeve about everybody is in every one of our groups that we're in, everybody's asking, how do you get real estate leads? And there's people who have material out there who are really, really talented, but with all respect and all honesty, they've never sold homes. And if they have, they've never sold as many homes as I have. And when I'm telling you that a seller wants to know value and information from the actual marketplace, that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the 7 ways that your home is not being sold, or the 3 things that are causing you to not get that offer price. They don't want to hear that. Those are ebook tactics to sell homes that are millions, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what do homeowners want to know? They want to know, hey, is my property value going up? What is the market telling me right now? So every month, and this is a pain, and I'm just going to give it to you because it's like a pain to do and most people won't do it. Every single month, either me as a realtor or the people that I'm serving, we will get real market data and say, for this very, very specific zip code, the average price per square feet is this. The average days on the market is this. The average price for a home is this. How much is your home worth? Comment below and talk to my chatbot, baby. And boom, I'm getting them. I'm just getting them, dude. And no one's doing what I'm doing, man. And if they were, they're not hyper targeting. If they were, they weren't doing the emojis. And I'm just doing all these little things, guys. So there's nothing special about me. There's really nothing talented about me. My only talent is that I work hard and I do the little things right every single time, every single day, on every single campaign. That's the only reason that I've been able to push myself as far as I have. And I've got so much more to go.
I'm gonna pick your brain on a real estate campaign. I want to know how you're targeting motivated sellers.
Ooh, this is good. Yo, I'm only, the only reason by the way, I charge a lot for this strategy. And the only reason I'm giving this out is because I've got so much value from your guys' show. And I just kind of watch it when I'm doing my stuff. And you guys are the truth. There's nobody else in the game who is doing real life numbers like you guys are. And we're very blessed to have a community like this. And everybody watching this, you guys should really be in our private Facebook group, like our page over here at the Business No BS community, just because, like, even though I like to contribute, I love to just pick up what you guys are are given out there. And I learned so much, and I'm very blessed to be a part of the community. So, normally, and on any other interview, I would say, yo, you're gonna have to pay for that one. That one's in a course coming out in June, and blah blah blah. This and that. But here's it, man. So here's the strategy, balls. Get ready. So it's
I'm
like
writing
this.
it down, bro.
So you want to tell Facebook. So you got to pick your market. So ideally, what's one of your markets? Give me one of your markets.
Your market, bro. I do all my deals in fucking.
You want me to give away my own market on? In my home court. All right, I can't do my home court, man. All right, let's do Wyoming. Let's do Utah. It's the same thing.
Let's do Utah.
So we're gonna pick some place in Utah, the least populated city in Utah. So I tell Facebook, remember, I always niche down 4 levels every single time because that gives a very, very hyper-targeted audience an opportunity to receive a very specific message. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, Facebook, show me everybody in Utah. So whatever that area is, okay, Facebook, from all those people, show me everybody 55 and up. Now I'm going to bring you into the mind of this person as we go along. So the third one is show me all the homeowners that have lived there for, more than 6. I'm sorry, show me all the homeowners. And then show me all the homeowners who have lived there more than 6 years. And then, what was that?
Do that in the behavioral target, like demographic under browse.
Yeah, absolutely. So go into the behaviors and then go to demographics and then I think it's the actual term is length of residency. I just did one today. Length of residency. And then there's a few different ones, but use the 6+ one because most people, are making buying or selling decisions within 5 to 7 years in real estate on average. So I put 6+, and then from those people, I'm looking for people that are making $30,000 to $50,000 U.S. American per year. So I just gave you a lot, and I want to explain why. So number one, I want to find the area because real estate's always local. Number two, I'm targeting people who are 55 and up who make not the best money and who are homeowners because if they're 55 and up, I'm kind of hoping for the chance that they should probably be living in a nursing home, and I'm going to speak to that with my targeting. So before I do any campaign, I do this thing called a psychoanalysis. I'm sure a lot of people have heard this, but I actually do the work. I have a worksheet. I write down people's wants, fears, desires. I have this whole process, and then I have another process where I look up what's going on in that marketplace by doing market research. I take screenshots of what people in those marketplaces that are consumers are saying, and I send that to my business owners so they know before I even run a campaign that I've done a lot of work. By the way, guys, I always charge setup fees, minimum 4 figures, because when I do my campaigns, I really get deep in there. And if they don't like that kind of targeting, and if they don't like this obsessed focus on that campaign, then they're not going to value the other stuff I'm going to bring in, which we're going to get into later, like the chatbots and the retargeting and all that. So they're not my cup of tea. So yeah, and in one of the messages, the first time that I did this, I put on the caption, "I want to give you money," and it was a little smiley face. That's all I said. And then on the image, it says really big. It was a really ugly house, and it said, "I buy homes," and then like fast cash, any condition. And that's what it said. And this was a Facebook lead ad. And so older people don't really want to mess with landing pages and clicking this and all that. They just want to be on Facebook, look at their grandkids, and they see this post that says, "I buy homes," show it to enough people. I want to overstress that this is a long-term campaign. And when you get a lead, now you get a wholesale lead. Now you got to deal with that world. So realistically, you might not get paid on that deal for 6 months to a year, and that's if you follow up. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there for those of you guys who aren't in the know of the wholesale game. But that's my whole campaign, man, and I do that in different markets where I have knowledge, and I just hit it up, man. And then I use Facebook ads to pick up private money, and I try to do the deal myself. Most of the time I just wholesale it, though, because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. I showed you a property. I don't know if you went to look at it. So we have a property there. Oh, you didn't go check it out yet? You're supposed to make me an offer.
I saw it online, but I didn't go out there, man. DFW's huge, man.
Yeah, so yeah, we've done rehabs, we've done wholesale, but I think we're just gonna go stick right to assignments. I think assignments is just quick, no headaches, don't have to deal with shit, and we have exit strategies for all those anyway. So yes, you're just you're doing straight lead ads. You're not even sending them to landing pages or anything like that. But like something you did say is key is the follow up. Because, it's different from somebody saying, "Oh, I want to sell my home cash" on Google to find people that are bidding like $100 clicks on that stuff to getting somebody to at least express interest in getting an offer. And then they're going to probably be looking for a retail offer. So now you got to bring them down to reality and say, hey, yeah, because of all this and this, we're going to be paying 70% of ARV or something like that, So, so you want to kind of bring that down. How you on your ad copy, you're just straight up saying, hey, give me cash. I want to give you cash. We'll buy your home.
It's evolved since then, and I want to give you my overall strategy, because if you understand this and you do the work, if you do the psychoanalysis and the review mining and the research and all that, if you do that, your copy will write itself. I always tell my students and the people that I mentor that we aren't copywriters, we're marketers. And good marketers do the research and they take customers' feedback and have that write its own copy. So all my sales pages, all my landing pages, all my emails is from the results of doing the work, doing the research, and putting myself in a position to be successful. And then split testing and all that other stuff. And then the emojis is just bonus. So yeah, man, the basics is I do 3 lines, and I'm sure you see them in all my posts. It's like emoji in the front, emoji in the back, short phrases, because people don't read anymore. It sucks. People don't read. So short phrases and 3 spurts. The last one is always a comment below, because I'm using Chatbots almost exclusively now in my post. But sometimes I'll be like, share this out and tag a marketer or something like that, and do those kinds of call to actions. And I'm getting a lot of that. When it comes to my businesses, we just ran a Facebook chatbot for a restaurant, for a patio they just opened up. We spent $6 US American dollars, and we put the ad in Swedish. We had 131 comments on that ad for 600 or for $6 US American dollars. I mean, and it didn't even run a full day. It's only ran like 9 hours because we like optimized it to where people weren't sleeping and whatnot.
That's crazy, man. I love it. Quick question here. So guys, that's so much knowledge drop there. That was just incredible. I love the 4-layer targeting. I have a question on that though. We don't do real estate. I don't really have any interest in it, so we're not going to take anything. My question is, when you exclude that deep, we got to be talking tiny audiences, man. How often are you exhausting those? It seems like if you're going 55 plus, own your homes for 6 years, I guess you're targeting a full state, but I guess what type of audience sizes are you looking for is a better question. What's the lowest that you typically work in? What's the biggest? So you talk a little bit about some of that stuff, I guess.
The lower the better, man, because I'm giving a super insanely targeted message to a super interested audience that if I have done my work, I'm speaking directly to them, and they respond like crazy. So, and to answer your question, when it comes to the real estate side, I go after areas that are more likely to be gentrified, to put it nicely.
There's a lot of nice areas right there that are going to be gentrified right in downtown Dallas.
Yeah.
I sold a house right in a spot next to an empty lot. That's the whole, the other block is already getting pushed out.
Yeah. I love that stuff. I love gentrification. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot happening here in the Northeast too, and in Jersey specifically. But yeah, no, that's some good stuff. Yeah, so even though it's super targeted, maybe your audience is like 10K, you're running through a specific, sometimes not even 10K.
It's higher. So honestly, most of my audiences are between like 20 and 50,000 most of the time.
That's not bad, because you could run through that in like about a week, right? Depending on what you're spending.
And then I run retargeting on my ads based on engagement, based on video views. So I'm doing a video view. So it's like I'm always there. And one of my crazy strategies, which I did give away in your guys' amazing group, Business Not BS, no courses, I gave away my strategy there, just like all the other influencers that are in there. They give out their best stuff for free. There's no charges, there's no sales pitch. That's a great community out there. One thing that I like to do specifically when it comes to retargeting on a video, if someone watches, 25% of it, 50% of that, if I know that somebody watches one of my videos on maybe outsourcing or real estate investing, whatever that is, and they watch, let's say 50%, well, that person's pretty dang interested in what I have to say, because I talk a lot. And so if they watch 50% of my video, I know that they're really interested in what I have to say, and they might want to benefit from having a conversation. So I then run a Facebook Messenger ad to those people that watched X amount of percentage of that video, and it has an arrow on the actual image that says, click this, and it might have like me or like another person like looking at that, because us as human beings, we always are interested in what other people are looking at. And if you don't believe me, go to Las Vegas and watch The Street Magician. You'll stop immediately in your tracks. You have no choice. You'll just stop. Like, what's going on here? I got to check this out. And so they'll click on that send message. Then I have a programmed chatbot with that message that automates that conversation, that qualifies them, that either tells them to go jump in a lake or get on a call with me.
On your lead ad for the real estate, you're putting video on that too, exclusively?
No, not in the lead ad. Not in the lead ad. No.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying
I'm doing the picture.
I'm extracting from Mr. Salas.
No, dropping so much, man. This is incredible. Shit.
That's sick. I got some good notes here. So yeah, Nick, you have any other questions on that?
I'm trying to digest everything, man.
I actually got some questions here. So I have another one too. So Colin's asking, what tools do you use to split test? Are you using AdEspresso or anything, or are you just split testing on your own?
I'm split testing within Facebook. Facebook's super powerful, and I think Dan Henry says he doesn't split test, which I really, really like because because you do the work beforehand. If you do the work beforehand, then for me, split testing is like such a perfectionist that I'll like, well, what about this emoji? Or I'll even do this. I'll like experiment different skin tones on the emojis going down. I'll do like the normal yellow one. I'll do the super white one. I'll do, my skin tone. I'll do the other one. I'll do the black one. I'll just like see what happens. And I've had some interesting results that I'm going to talk with you guys offline from the stuff that's happened. Just because like it's interesting. It's just interesting.
I believe it. All right, another question from Colin. What are the leading indicators of a location on its way to gentrification?
Ooh, so here's my number one. This is my go-to. I go to whatever the local grocery store is. Ideally, there's a lot of ethnic or diverse people there, and then I go into the store, and the second that I see plain, no sugar added, non-fat Greek yogurt in the place, something's coming. Money's coming. Money's coming, dude.
Colin, is if you
wow.
Most communities have some type of like local online system where they have like the town I forgot what the fuck it's called. The town has all their plans of approvals and stuff. You can actually go into certain like cities or counties and look at what their plans are as far as making improvements to their town or city. And when you start seeing, hey, they're gonna build, a brand new city hall in this area, that means they're gonna push everybody the fuck out, and then they're gonna be building it. So keeping track of what kind of developments the community and the city and the towns are putting into their specific neighborhoods is a key indicator of who they're gonna push out and gentrify the area to make it more pleasant. Nice.
Yeah. When I'm driving around, I'll get some feedback or some echo. I turn my voice down. So when I'm driving around, I look for the beat up cars. I look for the cars that probably don't have insurance, and I follow them to kind of see where they end up. Like, where are you guys hanging out? Where are you parking that thing? Because I know for sure somebody there in that neighborhood is ready to sell. And I'll do some door knocking, especially for the really ugly houses that look like haunted houses. I'll come up there, I'll knock, and then if they don't answer, I have these sheets. They're like, like when you get a ticket or like an infraction when you were in school, it's like the pink, the blue, and the yellow or whatever. So I'll stick those on those doors because like people who are poor or in those areas, like they think they're in trouble and they'll respond to that. If it just looks official, they're like kind of scared and they're like, yeah, I think I got some kind of warning. And then I'm like, ¿Quieres vender su casa a mí? So like, oh.
Yeah, no, that's a good tactic. When we used to do a lot of the bird dogging, whatever you call it, right? You send people out there. One strategy I have for you that you might want to do. I did it a while ago. I just stopped doing it, but we ran a recruiting ad for people that we were gonna pay commission only on, and I basically ran a ZipRecruiter in Dallas, in north of Dallas. We ran a campaign looking for people that drive a lot for a living and had free time. That just drive a lot for a living, and we got them all in a room. I got like 20 people in a room, and I offered them, I think it was like $10 for every house they snapped a picture of that looked like shit, all the criteria, right? And I set up like a Twilio SMS where they would just take a picture, write the address, and send it to this, and would go to my email. And we start building up a database of houses, and then we would have somebody else go do the research, pull all the information for the property, and start sending out letters and shit.
Dude, that's fucking genius.
So I had like FedEx drivers, just people that just drive for a living that are So you're going out in these neighborhoods anyway, and just, hey, if you have a house that looks like this or like this or like this, boarded up, this, whatever the criteria, just take a picture, get the address, and send it here. Text it here.
So I could just be on my phone and be like, yo, that's a shitty house. Let me make that 10. Let me make that Hamilton. Boom.
Yeah. We just pay them money for every picture they send us.
Nice.
So that's a good tactic. I don't do that anymore. You might want to try that if you got the manpower out there. I know most of your people are virtual.
Yeah, most of my people don't speak English, man.
No, that's fine. So there's a lot of that. Okay, I just want to ask you, before we move on to the next topic, what are you using? You mentioned a lot about, hey, really getting to know the market, doing the research. What specific, are you using certain tools to do that research, or what's your process in researching a market?
So here is where I got to pull rank on everybody and say, I am a licensed realtor. I have access to real-time market data, not the stuff that the title companies send 2 months later, like in the moment, and I'm able to go back and see just so much information. And if you aren't in a position where you are licensed or have access to the MLS in your local area, I would strongly recommend for you to align yourself with a knowledgeable realtor in your local area. And even though I'm in different areas, I got my peeps that I talk to. Shout out to my boy Lamar and Uriel out in Austin, Texas. My boy Chuck out in Dallas. My boy JW out in Houston. What's up, fellas? Got some deals coming your way. Always got to know my peeps, man, because like those people will keep you informed about what's going on. So MLS access, if you get a license, it's almost a hindrance because like I could potentially go to jail or lose my license if I do a deal that doesn't seem fair in the eyes of, TREC, the Texas Real Estate Commission. So just take that for what it's worth.
What about researching like for your other clients? Like, so somebody hires you as an
The
agent.
psychoanalysis, bro. I think that's what it is. Yeah, psychoanalysis as well.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah. So as far as when it comes, like, let's say I'm working with a realtor in an area that I don't know the area, or let's say I got somebody who wants to do something in an area that I don't know. I reach out to a realtor. I'm also affiliated with Remax, so we're global, and I typically can just make a phone call and be like, "Yo, what's up, money?" And they just kind of let you know what's going good, So when it comes to the psychoanalysis, I've got a worksheet that if your audience reaches out to me and can find me, I'll give it to them, no cost, and it's my 100% from my brain is my creative process that I took out of my brain and made it into a system. So the first part of turning cold traffic into raving fans is to do a psychoanalysis. So you want to think about your target follower. So a lot of people say target audience and target demographic and customer avatar, and that's something from like 1999 and 1998. Like that doesn't exist anymore. And here's why. Because even though all four of us on here are in our late 20s, we're into marketing and blah, 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 every single one of us has different interests or different enough interests to where we all see different ads based on our interests and our activities and our behaviors. So I want to go for a target follower. So when I do hyper targeting and there's only 50,000 people there, I imagine like a stadium full of 50,000 people who are ready to give me their money. That's what I imagine because I speak directly to them and I look at what are their wants, what are their needs, what are their desires, what are their fears, what are their symptoms, what is life like going on, what is life for them right now, like what do they experience every single day. I really use a lot of empathy and compassion, and I think about how do they experience the world, what are their problems, and how can I, like Russell Brunson says, how can I agitate that problem, how can I keep bringing that up to where I compel them to take action with my emojis, with my NLP copywriting, neuro-linguistic programming, for those of you guys who don't know. Now we're going a little bit deeper into my ninja stuff. And then with my, all these, the little things, just like the little details that most people don't do in their marketing because they're thinking about the money and they're not thinking about the relationship with that client. And that relationship is everything. The money's nothing. The money can go away, but that relationship, that business owner could go under. And if you just serve them, you don't know who they know. You don't know what business they start next. And it's always about that relationship. So that's something I very strongly feel about.
Damn, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. So much we can talk about, dude. NLP, whole nother discussion. We'll have to talk offline about that too. Love that shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Balls, you got any other questions? We should move towards chatbots and emojis, man. The two hot things right now. Fucking emojis, dude. Every single ad I see right now is running them everywhere. Like, it's crazy. It really seems to explode over the last month in specific. And then, we've been looking at messenger ads along with sponsored messages and utilizing chatbots as well, really trying to familiarize. Me and Ben personally are doing a ton of that. We've got our systems and models, but we're aware of it. So that's why we want to learn a bit more about you. Give us, let's start with the chatbots and the messenger ads, man, and then we'll jump to the emoji marketing for the close. But let's start with that stuff. Just high level overview. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, man. So everybody's been hearing about these chatbots and everyone's been promoting this stuff. And, maybe some people have been building chatbots because they bought a course or they saw some kind of program, whatever. And they're like, okay, I got chatbots, but nothing's happening. It's because you have to drive traffic to that chatbot. And a chatbot isn't a magic bullet. It's just another tool that augments really, really good marketing. So if you're not the best in marketing, of course, you're not going to see any results because it's just not going to work out that way. And here's what Facebook chatbots do. Think about all of your sales processes, or as all the cool kids say, their funnels. What do your funnels look like? What are your sales processes? What's bringing you money? And how can you drive traffic to there? So one of my sales funnels or sales process is that I offer mentorship for people in social media. And a way that I get people into those programs is when somebody sends me a message on my chatbot, on my Talented Mr. Salas page, 3 things will pop up. And they'll have emojis in there. And because there's emojis in there, people are like, oh, this is really cool. I'm interested. But what's subconsciously happening is that when they see those emojis and I put money signs and the graph going up and all these like really specific targeted emojis, their brain has no choice but to perceive the shapes, the colors, the object, the meaning on a subconscious level. Their conscious level might be like, oh, that's cool. But subconsciously, they're like, oh, yeah, this will get me paid. Or this will make me more leads, blah, blah, blah. So when you message me, it says, what can I help you with? Is it more leads or more marketing? Is it real estate, or is it outsourcing? Because that's what most people want from me. So I think about, what do people really want from me? And then I kind of narrow it down into 3 categories. And then that then has separate conversations. So if you hit more revenue, then I ask you, okay, to qualify you to get more information, I ask, are you marketing right now with advertising dollars? Yes or no? If they hit yes, then it goes to, okay, how much money per month are you spending? 1 to 5,000, 5 to 10,000, or 10,000 or more. Kind of lets me know where they at. And then I can tag them through my messenger bot and put them on a very, very segmented list that allows me to market to them at a later date. We'll save that for another conversation for sure. We're just getting into this, guys. It's deep, guys. This is deep and this is new. And so it goes through that whole process. And at the very end, it's got 3 choices because I ask them a bunch of other questions. I qualify them. And if they're qualified, they get these 3 choices. They're like, it looks like you're a prime candidate to work with me. Which of these makes the most sense for you? And then I put the dollar emoji and says, teach me marketing. And then I put the money bag emoji. So the dollar is like, okay, it's going to cost some money. The money bag emoji is like, oh, it's going to cost me a lot of money. So it says, teach me marketing. Or I'm sorry, handle my marketing, the second one. So first one's teach me marketing. Second one is handle my marketing. And the last one, it just says the free emoji. And it says, join my free Facebook group. So if you ain't got no money, go to the free thing. And the people with no money, because they see free, they're like, ooh, I like free stuff. Ooh. And they click on it and they go into my group. And then the people who are like, yo, I want to learn marketing from this kid. The people who are like, I want this kid to handle my marketing. Like, I know it sounds really dumb, guys, but people are perceiving these things and they subconsciously pick up on this. And it helps us as marketers and business owners really take our brand message and honestly tell people what we want them to do.
That's awesome, man. I love it. The idea of just, combining emojis with the same sentences, even down to the level of free, money bags, dollar signs, so that subconsciously they can tell. I buy into all that shit, man, without even, hearing where it came from, all that. Because we all know, how much we can be effective subconsciously and, conditioned by marketing and advertising. I mean, we all are conditioned, whether we like to admit it or not, we're all conditioned very heavily. And so that just seems like it's a new tool and strategy we can start using here. So that's awesome. That's a great example of what you're using chatbots for as well. So you're doing messenger ads to get people to comment, and then you're saving those people, and then are you blasting them? I think you mentioned this before, but are you blasting those sponsored messages down the line? Are you waiting till you get a certain number to send those sponsored messages? Is that what you're saying was the next conversation? Because, I'm just working on putting together some strategies here using these. Because like you said, it's one of those things where it's not like Field of Dreams where if you build it, they will come. It's a tool in your arsenal. You still have to have a strategy behind it, lead capture info, and continue to push people down. But we can really avoid email at this point, which email is still great. There's nothing wrong with email marketing, obviously. But from what I'm saying, it sounds like 90% open rates. Are you fucking kidding me on this stuff, man? Like,
Well,
crazy.
I'm all about the numbers. I'm a number guys like you, and this is a 95% open rate, and I'm getting about a 53% action rate. That was at 100% less than a month ago, but now as all the other people are getting into there, it's dropping it down. So we are straight up. We are at the decline. We're right here. We hit the top of the roller coaster, and it's here. So right now, and I'm not trying to sell anything. I got nothing to offer, but right now is the time to get into chatbots because 6 to 9 months from now, we are going to be, as consumers and as a society, numb to these things.
So are you thinking that, so with chatbots right now, you're using it more for your B2B side to get people into your courses, your programs, things like that. So for our audience that are running agencies that we're doing lead gen for clients, which we definitely need to provide them some type of information, name, phone number, email, somebody interested in an offer, how do you see chatbots working in that realm?
So this is where I have to remind everybody that I am the talented Mr. Salas with multiple talents, and I'm a man of many talents. And I do use my Facebook ads, knowledge, and all the other stuff to pick up business owners. And here's my targeting. Remember, 4 levels deep. I pick my markets. I qualify by net worth and income. And then I also target the people who like the Chamber of Commerce. No one's going to like the Chamber of Commerce if they're not in some type of business. And I just hit it up. And then I put a very targeted, very specific message. I always do my psychoanalysis every single time without fail because every market's different. The business owners in Boston might be bitching about the taxes, and the people in Texas over here might be bitching about the price. You don't know. So it's always about, like, what is that market saying?
And on the consumer side, so now I have a client, right? I'm running ads, for example, for a chiropractor. Like everyone's got a chiropractor, right? So we're running ads for a chiropractor. How could we use chatbots to generate leads for them on the consumer end?
My answer is always whatever you guys want. What was that?
Not even something that's possible right now. Like I can't picture a way. I haven't really played with chatbots too much to know. So I'm asking you if you've seen like a method to use chatbots for local lead gen for consumer side to business.
Yes, and we just ran one in Sweden for a restaurant that went insanely well. We had a huge return rate on $6. But just like I can do this for any business and for any niche, I can market anything to anybody when I niche down 4 levels every single time. So let's do that in real time. Okay, so we're looking for chiropractor people in the Northeast and in New York City. So we're going to tell Facebook, okay, everybody in New York City, boom, okay. Everybody in New York City who likes wellness, who likes stretching, who likes yoga, who likes posture. So we're going to narrow that audience down. So that's 2. Everybody in New York City, everybody who likes these health-related industries. We're going to niche down to 3rd level. Okay, and everybody who then is where I would have to rely on my research and say, and then everybody who likes this, I don't know, this type of yoga, which is really vertebrae oriented, or everybody who likes the magazines of wellness or something like that, and then just niche it down to get that really, really hyper targeted message. Then with that, and then I don't know this because I'm just making up off my head because I haven't done the research. But then I would take my research and say, okay, the data tells me that people in New York City are complaining on Google reviews about these chiropractors not doing this. So one of my things I do in the psychoanalysis is, what are people mad about? What gets people really feel strongly either way? Because those are the buying points right there. People don't buy on vanilla. They buy on chocolate with gummy bears and sprinkles. People are very, very on social media. That's why Trump won, because he was very, very. He wasn't plain. He wasn't trying to be political. He was very, very. And the tribe spoke. And that's how you got to be on social media. You got to be very specific. So yeah, that's kind of an overall gist of how I would do something like that for any business. And I always trust in the process. The process will never fail you, but it's a lot of work, and I got no problem giving out my strategies because most people ain't gonna do it.
So on the messenger bots, I haven't really, I've played with it a little bit. having, I know it segments the audience. Is there any way to transfer, like, so somebody that you segment to get them to give you their data, like phone number, email, like a lead ad, or is it, hey, I can only market them through messenger bots? Like,
Yeah,
how do I track my conversion in a brick and mortar space, like the restaurant or chiropractor or whatever?
Yeah, so here's how we're doing this for the restaurant. So right now we are doing a grand opening and we have a Facebook chatbot. We are driving comments. We have a really, really, really nice creative piece of content that we put together in Canva with the client's existing photos, and we turn that into a slideshow. The reason we turn that into a slideshow is so that we may retarget them at a later date. And then I can't give this all to you because this is pretty legit, but at the very bottom, we put some very, very specific calls to action that reiterated and programmed their brain again, because people are sheep and you got to tell them what to do. And so we reiterated some of the message that was in that creative copy on a graphic at the very bottom of that slideshow. So people took the action, they were leaving comments, and then when they left the comment, we now sent them a message on Chatbot that says, hey, here's something cool, and we're giving them a special offer. So they reply back with offer for guest, because we want them to be our guest. And then they get another message that shows, okay, show this to your waiter, and it's got emojis, show this to your waiter for these, whatever, these discounts. And so on Monday, we're going to be able to go to the business owner and say, Mr. Business Owner, you gave us $100 budget. We only use we're using $18 at this rate. I don't know, we're severely going deep into or saving that money on that ad. But then we're going to say, and this is the results. We had right now we have 131 people that have subscribed to your chatbot. And now you can market to them at any time from now on. You own that list right now. You can market to them right now. And guess what? We have a 95% open rate. Also, we had these many people get to this part of the process, and we offered these many coupons. Now, here's where you guys work with somebody over there and onboard them about the promotion. So when we run promotions like this, we always make sure we speak to the front of the house manager and say, yo, we're going to be bringing people in. They're going to be expecting this kind of discount, and we're marketing to cold traffic, not your regulars. I need you to handle this like this, this, and this. Do you have any questions? Okay, perfect. No? Awesome. Go train the staff. And what that does is a few things. It gets that process handled, but then it tells the business owner, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, I am here to handle your marketing. Any marketing campaign that happens, I am handling that. I am a versatile addition to your business, and I'm going to handle these kind of campaigns. Give me more responsibility. My rates are increasing. Give me more money to market your business, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner. And they appreciate that. They're like, man, I'm glad you're here running the marketing because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I got to do all this other stuff. And like Facebook ads and chatbots, dude, just handle that. Here's your money. You're good.
Wow.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, man. No, that's all awesome. I actually just saw a really good question, and I have a question for you as well, especially specific for the local space. And again, I don't know, how many. Yeah, I'll just ask the question. It's a two-part. One, the question was asked, when we're excluding this much and when we're talking about going 4 layers deep for the local space, it can really, really lower your population, like I mentioned earlier with real estate, especially for not targeting statewide. One, if you are getting down, niching down for a local business, audience fatigue. And then two, from our experience, and again, everyone's fucking different, when we start adding in interest categories and we start excluding, our cost per impressions and cost per leads tend to skyrocket, and the cost per lead aren't necessarily there. So curious on both those fronts. Have you seen anything like that? What would you say to those things?
So here's what I would say. Number one, are the ads going to get fatigued? Absolutely. And because me and all the people that I mentor, because we charge setup fees, that means that we're going to do another campaign. That means we're always in business. That means we're going to do another cycle analysis. We're going to do another hyper targeting. So when you niche down 4 levels, that's hyper targeting. That's how I convey it to business owners. And that's what really resonates with them. That language specifically, guys, really just vibes with them. Their eyes light up like, oh, like you just told them you were giving $1 million. They're like, oh, they'll do that. And so once you niche down 4 levels, and let's say you have your ad for 50,000 people, and let's say you're getting in front of about 1,000 people a day. Guess what? That's like 50 days before you exhaust that audience one time, and then most people kind of ignore it. So the frequency, once it gets past like 1.5, then I start to like, maybe we should like do some different things here and shut it off. But then I tell my business owner, hey, Mr. Business Owner, this ad ran its course. We are now experiencing fatigue. We're getting higher negative comments. Our relativeness goes down. By the way, when you niche down 4 levels, for me, in my experience, the cost does go a lot down because the relevancy goes up, and I'm giving a super, super targeted message that is really likely to resonate with them, in my experience, in all niches, every single one of them, especially real estate too. Just that relevancy scale goes up. Where the cost does go up is where you do fatigue it, or maybe people are just kind of like really upset with it and you haven't spoken to them properly and they leave negative reviews. And then Facebook's like, are you sure you want to run an ad, Frank? Because the last time you ran an ad, we had some problems, you know,
Yeah.
and they charge you a little bit. So hopefully that answers your question. But in my experience, it's done nothing but wonders, done nothing but greats. And I, just to really drive that point home to all the audience, when I do a hyper-targeted campaign, I'm giving a very specific message to that people. And there might be other people that are kind of in that realm, but they're not seeing that message because maybe for the restaurant, we're doing something for people that are gluten-free, for people that are vegan, for people that like, you know, steaks, for people that like wine. I'm giving them a very specific message, and I'm charging campaign setup fees for those. Normally my campaign setup fees are $4,000. I'm sorry, 4 figures per campaign. If I'm doing something like that, I might cut them a little bit of break and say, you know what, instead of this being this, I'll do it for this price. And I'm still getting paid my campaign setup fees because I spend on average about 4 hours doing the research. And now because I have SOPs and processes and systems in place, my virtual assistants do that. And I'm paying them like $3 to $5 an hour. And I'm not paying tax. And I'm not paying healthcare. And I'm not paying unemployment insurance. And I'm not paying payroll taxes. And I ain't dealing with all that stuff. Because you know what? America's the greatest country in the world. And we have the strongest dollar, or one of the strongest dollars on the planet. And one of our dollars here is $50 in the Philippines. It is $3,000 in Colombia. So that's how I play the game.
Man, but payroll, taxes, employees, and all that's all the fun stuff, man. Giving it all away. No, that's awesome. I actually really like the idea of every time you're going to reset, because you are doing such deep work, you're charging a 4-figure setup fee. I think that's cool. That's a unique way of doing it. I haven't heard too many people charge like that. I think that's a great way to make it worth your time to continue with the clients, almost like re-onboarding them again and keeping them up and going. So yeah, that definitely, that they answered my question, right there as far as what I had. Balls. Ben, you got any questions, bro?
I'm just taking notes, man.
Yeah, right?
I see a lot of opportunity we've got a VA loan niche that, we've ran some ads, we've seen some success, but we're not doing great in. And so I see a lot of stuff that we could tweak or try to get those leads better.
Yeah, guys, this is fucking gold. This is why we love this group. We get to meet Frank, get to come on, just share knowledge, bring it up. And you know what? Frank hit it on the head. A lot of times, most people who watch probably aren't going to do anything either, So that's why, but there's going to be a couple people who are, and we're going to want to connect down the line. So this is awesome. I'm learning a ton. Yeah, wow, that's fantastic, man. So let's jump to emojis, bro. I know you've been talking about it. You've been slipping in some golden nuggets. I keep hearing talking about subconscious. This and that. Why are they the rage? Yeah, just give me the emojis. When did you start using them and all the time, all that good stuff?
I I came up in the live stream world, which is probably why I talk a lot, but I came up in Periscope. And Periscope was kind of like, you're the only person on camera and you got to keep everybody excited. And you're like, share, heart. And like that community is early adopter, and it's ahead of their time a little bit. And I studied them, and I would study what was working. And I started using emojis in my live streams on Periscope. And I gave out pretty good stuff, but I'm a nobody, when it comes to the social media world. And I built up a following very, very quickly. And I noticed that when I use certain emojis, like money, like diamonds, like the crowns, like all these like things that people responded to, just like my live streams would have a few hundred people in there, and I'd be like, man, people are really listening to what I'm saying. How'd they get in here? How'd they find about me? And people are like, I don't know. And so then I just put myself in their shoes, and then I'm like, well, of course, this makes total sense. So I go on Periscope, and I'm looking at all the live streams, and everyone has like boring, lame titles, and everyone's all like, the 3 things that will help your marketing, and blah, blah. And then it's like 5 money bags that says, I'm about to blow your shit up. Join now. And it's like, me calling people to join this live stream. and they're just jumping in like crazy. And then everybody's communicating with emojis. And, you know, I got into emojis because girls got me into emojis. Like, they would have conversation and like just send stuff over.
Smileys, bro.
Dude, the smileys, and then like the one that got me was the upside down smiley. Like, what does that mean? Are you in danger? Do you need help? Like, what's up? And so I just like really got into that. And then I realized, well, women are better communicators than men, and women are more compassionate, more empathetic than men. There's probably something here. And so using that experience with, you know, live stream, I started then experimenting with them in my cold emails when I send them out. And my cold emails, you're gonna get one here soon. It has the money mouth emoji, so it's like the money eyeballs, the tongue coming out with the dollar sign. So I send that, and then my go-to email is, "Are you ready for an influx of customers?" And then the second subject line is done a certain way, you know, with other stuff, and people are like really responding to that. And when they respond to that, I was like, okay, there's something to this emoji stuff. So I've been using emojis for about 15 months now, 15, 16 months. And I've actually have trainings on Periscope that you can go, you can find me on Periscope at Frank Salas. And in April, May, June, July, all the way to August, every week, I just had a series or presentations on emojis. And I did case studies after case study after case study after case study of emojis, proper emoji usage, improper emoji usage, all this stuff. And my favorite story about emojis is IKEA. So back in 2015, IKEA had like the 20 days of Christmas calendar. And on every day, you could put a different emoji on there. And this is something they only put up and offered for 1 hour. In that 1 hour, they sold 55,000 of those at $20 a pop. Their servers crashed and they weren't able to sell anymore because they wouldn't be able to fulfill it on time for the holiday season. And they made 100, or like, I think like it was like 100 grand in like less than an hour, and they could have went more. And people were complaining and people were mad that they couldn't get their emojis. And it was like such a huge thing. And this was back in 2015. Then I start to look at all the other case studies and start to see that. Then I get really deep into emojis, and to make it more normal, more like regular language. Who sends you emojis, Nick? Right now, who sends you emojis?
Girls, my mom, fuck everybody. Actually, I get all the time. Everybody.
And emojis all the time from a chatbot called the Talented Mr. Salas.
The Talented Mr. Salas. Yeah, man. I guess what think about everyone throws them in there. I throw them in there. I randomly use them for shit. I mean, everyone.
Right. And the people closest to you probably use the same amount of emojis. Like, you know, my girl, I'll send her the little kissy face emoji or the heart emoji, you know, and she probably associates that with me subconsciously because I send it to her so much. There's some of my clients who I'll send the money mouth emoji out, and they'll be like, yeah, Frank wants to get paid for this, or this is going to cost me some money, or this is going to be something like this. It just kind of lets them know about that. And they're like, okay, I'm associating that with you. But when you take an association that someone has, like the heart emoji, and you put that on an ad on paid traffic, and on my YouTube channel, I did a case study on an e-commerce ad so I'm okay at e-commerce. I'm not great, but I'm good at other stuff that really compensates in the e-commerce world. One of those things is emojis. So there's a campaign that I didn't run, but I did a case study on. It's on my YouTube channel, and it was for a coffee mug that if you put coffee in there, it's all white, but if you put coffee in there, like it'll turn black, and it'll say, "To my loving wife, who I love so dearly, blah, blah, blah," something about our anniversary or something like that. So on that ad, they had the 3 lines. They had the heart emoji on the front of every single one of them. And then the bottom one, the call to action was tag your wife. And so you had thousands of comments of all these people from all over the world. By the way, emojis are universal. There's no language of emojis. Emojis work in Japan, in Australia, in Hong Kong, in China, everywhere. Everybody uses emojis, and it means the same thing. If I show somebody who speaks English a heart emoji, or Spanish or Swedish or German, they all know what that means. There's no deciphering. They are clear on the definition of that, and they have associations with that heart emojis that are probably positive, and I'm going to leverage those positive feelings to get them to know me, like me, and trust me even more, and take those calls to actions. And so when I'm doing a call to action, I'll say, you'll always see this. You'll see the little brown. I'm brown as hell. The brown hands. You won't see the yellow hands. You'll see the brown hands because it humanizes my interaction. So normally people see my little profile picture and they see me. And when I do this, their brain automatically links hands with this face, and you subconsciously, without even thinking about it, see me do this. So you process that in an instant, and people comment. And for those of you guys who are like, oh, that's bullshit, go to my Facebook page at Talented Mr. Salas and go look at the comments on all of my chatbot posts and tell me who's bullshitting.
Wow. Dude, and so I get it. I think it's brilliant, man. It makes perfect sense, the association, the way we subconsciously do things. There's been a lot about, like, you know, pictures pointing at call to actions on websites that have really helped improve things. I've seen a ton of that, and we can utilize that in our ads. So you use the down thing for everything, even if, what if they're not just chatting, even for like clicks, if you're trying to get, you know, opt-ins, things like that, using it for everything. And then also, I know it sounds like you're already marketing to people in the older demographic. Does this work for all demographics as well, even 40, 30, I mean, everywhere? It's universal?
Grandmas are sending emojis, bro.
What's that?
Grandmas are sending emojis now.
All right, I'm about to go redo hell shit. That's awesome, dude. Like, I love it. I love it. I just love the idea of just constantly doing this too. Like, it's so simple. Just put it at the very end, do something to catch you to that's simple but powerful. You never want to get away from the simplicity, but it can be super powerful. I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere too, man. So, and it just.
Have you tested like, you know how like when you're running Facebook ads and it does the see more, right? Have you tested like putting like click see more to see more, like with the arrow?
So my calls to action, so I'm super technical, guys. So my calls to action, I never put like click this or do that. I always tell them the benefit instead. So start like in the conversation that Nick and I had on my page earlier today in the morning, my call to action was like comment below for something cool. You know, it's always like what is in it for them, and I'm selling them on every single thing. Every single time I'm giving them call to action, you have to resell somebody. Every time I like have a program or a course that I record, at the very first 30 seconds, I have to say, this is the reason why you want to follow these instructions exactly. Because you're always having to sell people, because right now, Ty Lopez just sent out an email. Grant Cardone just sent out an email. Russell Brunson just sent out an email. Your girlfriend just texted you. Donald Trump just went live. There was a shooting in this place. You know, there's an earthquake here. These coal miners are trapped here. Everyone's trying to get our attention, and I'm just trying to like keep your attention. I'm trying to leverage all of your subconscious thoughts and feelings about X, Y, and Z. And I'm trying to manipulate your eyeballs, because when you have no choice but to see something. Like everybody here has something that they wish that they could unsee, but you can't. You cannot unsee things, and you cannot unsee emojis, baby.
Man, I love it. I love it. You actually just gave me several good ideas for stuff already on the fly. Like that's awesome. Shit, I don't even know where else to go. I mean, this has just been freaking pure gold.
Questions or anything?
What's that?
I'm trying to see if there's any questions or anything right now. Somebody asked earlier, can you help me brainstorm on hitting these 4 layers for first-time home buyers? I think you kind of touched on that, the 4 layers for home buyers, right? So the city, the obviously homeowners, or no, likely to move probably, right? Income, and then what else would you do?
Age range. Most people who are first-time home buyers, and this depends because, you know, just kind of where you're at, are typically under 35. I mean, you might be in some places it's a little bit older, it's a little younger. In Texas, at least, and in my markets, it's 35. Definitely talk to a realtor and just have a conversation with a few of them. Just call up and be like, hey, I'm doing some market research, blah, blah, blah. You might pick up a lead. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asking where you find emojis for laptop. So for laptop, yes, you shared this on our live. If you download this extension on Google Chrome, was it called Emoji Stuff or something?
Yeah, it's Emoji Stuff. Or just go to Google Chrome and type in emojis. It's the first one there by Emoji Stuff. That's the best one. And there is some compatibility issues. And by the way, for everybody watching this, if you're just, you know, deciding you want to follow me, everything that I'm going to show you is an early adopter phase. There's a strong chance the platform could lose funding. There's a strong chance you could get banned. And there's a strong chance that whatever we're using may not work in 2 months to a year. But that being said, when it works like crazy, and it's worth every single risk.
You're talking about the platform losing funding. You're talking about the Messenger bot platform or the emoji, all of it?
Anything that I show you guys, like I was telling people about Blab last year, and Blab just died, and people picked up a lot of business on that. I tell people about like Anchor. Anchor had a rebranding, and they're doing what they're trying to do, and it's like, I was telling people about, start doing these lead generation things, and then Facebook starts banning because we're doing certain things with emojis that we're not supposed to, So it's like just kind of throwing that out there.
Regulations on emojis and ads.
Yeah, not on ads, but on outreach through Facebook. So a lot of my people that I mentor, they do a lot of outreach on Facebook Messenger, and they use emojis, and they've got a certain way and flow of doing that, and that does trigger certain things.
Oh, like Facebook, like if you're Messenger blasting cold people, and then Facebook will block you from access to messaging people.
It's at the minimum, yeah.
At the minimum.
So you mean you can't just give everyone the finger over and over again and just fucking
Well, no, I've seen that happen. Like when people go and message just random like business owners, and they'll message other people, and they'll do more than X amount a day to try and generate leads for themselves. They're Facebook's gonna block them or ban them. And that's probably the worst case scenario. They lose their account 100%, right? So as far as like what you're using ManyChat right now, right, for your chatbot. What other have you played with any other ones? Or you think ManyChat's the best one to use?
So before I make a recommendation, I go deep into all the programs. When I say deep, I talk to them about what is their funding. Who's going to buy you guys out? Who's on your team? What's your guys' operation? I'll message them. Who responds the first, the fastest?
I'm getting some really bad feedback. Is anyone else right now? Frank, sorry to interrupt you, but I was getting some really bad pushback.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I turned my volume down.
Okay, no, you're good now. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. I just know you're about to drop some more good shit. We got to make sure we can hear you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I appreciate that. So, when it comes to all the platforms that I check out on anything, I always like to have a conversation with the platform creators if I can, because I straight up tell them, look, I have a decent following, and I'm going to be making some recommendations on this particular technology, and I personally don't want to have all of my man hours lost because you guys run out of money. I'm just kind of pretty honest about that. So tell me about your business. Tell me about your operations. And I'm always suggesting features. I'm always doing this, giving them feedback. I'm reporting bugs. I'm a good user, and I build that relationship with them to get to these points. And they're with ManyChat, they're in the best position, I feel, professionally, to be able to either get acquired by Facebook and just buy out their technology, which may happen. They may either get acquired by another company and get funded, or they're probably going to just keep doing their own thing, kind of stay super small and pull a ClickFunnels on us.
Nice.
That's pretty strong. Shit. What else we got?
Yeah, we're coming up on 90 minutes here, Frank, man.
Just a quick question. So when I go to create an ad, if I just do like a less than sign and a number 3, and then hit a space, that's going to make a heart. Is there any reason I shouldn't use that over like copying from emoji stuff or something like that? Like, will both work?
Both will work. Yeah, both will work.
So the thing with that Ben is that if you want to make like with emoji stuff, you can kind of just type in like a keyword and say, hey, I want to use money.
Yeah. So some of the complicated shit you might want to just copy and paste, but I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that. Oh, another question on your ads that you're running. For the comments specifically, hey, comment here for the chatbot to initiate. Are you running PPE ads to kind of boost that engagement, or are you doing?
I exclusively run with Facebook video ads for retargeting purposes. Unless it's a lead ad, I'm always 100% going with video ads. And my goal, and to answer your question, my campaigns are always for video views because that brings my cost down very low to 1 to 2 cents. Along with my targeting, along with all the other things that I do. So maybe that's where you guys can optimize your campaigns, Nick, on your retargeting and doing those kinds of things. But that's what works for me. On average, it costs me 1 to 2 cents per lead. And if I'm doing any kind of retargeting, and this is going this is going on a retarget of a retarget of a retarget, because I go that deep, the highest I'm spending is about 37 cents to acquire a customer.
And if you don't have a video for the market, or you're not going to record one, you just grab images and make a slideshow or something, right?
Absolutely.
So if you don't have a video, you grab images, make a slideshow so that you can run the ad as a video view, and you do that because of the cost, it'll drive them down, as well as the retargeting if someone watches 50%. And you do this for opt-ins, you do this for things outside of the messenger ad as well. You do this for in spaces if you're driving traffic to landing pages, things like that.
Anything.
You're just getting cheap ass traffic because it's a video view.
Very, very cheap traffic. People are engaged with videos and they'll actually stop and watch the content. And then I also, just a quick tip for your audience, every time people are watching my videos, it's like astounding how many people watch it with the sound off. And it's like 85% or more watched it with the sound off. Very little people actually watched it with the sound. And so I always put captions. And on these slideshows, you might not have any music or anything there, but I still put captions in there, and I'll say like captions, like whatever the last little line says, whatever that call to action is, I'll say that over and over. I'll just like copy and paste it and upload my own captions that way to kind of really drive that message home. And instead of having the same thing over and over, it'll say like on our video, Nick, it will say like comment, no BS. And that's one message. Then the next second, it's like for something cool. So they'll see comment no BS for something cool. Comment no BS for something cool. I'm like programming them again. I'm telling them what to do.
Yeah. It's fucking brilliant, man.
Craig, just to make sure I understand, so you're running a video ad. Video views is what you're targeting. You're getting 37-cent leads. What is the lead? Commenting below?
No, so I'm getting 37-cent retargeted leads. So
okay, so you watch the video, and then from there you're retargeting to a lead ad where you're actually getting the lead.
So I don't retarget with lead ads because that's a little bit expensive, and you would really drive that up. I like to do messenger ads, which
okay, so retarget with a messenger ad that's comment below to get more details, blah blah blah. So your video views ads, your only goal is to get them on your list so you can retarget people that have watched a certain percentage of your video.
Well, so that's not my only goal because I have a call to action with every one of my campaigns. That's like the initial one. I want to break down a campaign. Maybe this helps you out. Maybe this helps bring this point home. So I have a campaign that's being marketed to realtors that are six-figure earners that are very interested in outsourcing and that are already investing in themselves. And I've done the research there in those particular fields. So, and that's my 4 that I go down. So I get a very precise audience. And then I send, I show them a video of a really, really like well-spoken virtual assistant who is only talking about real estate stuff. On that video, people are then commenting like crazy, and then that sends them a message, and then that gets them on my chatbot that then takes them through a sales process or a funnel through the chatbot that then takes them to book an appointment with me. When they book their appointment with me, I now have their email. Then I send them a form, or my virtual assistant send them a form, and then I start asking them questions about how many people do you have on your staff right now? How many people, or who's going to train your VA? What's your budget for a VA? I basically ask all this, and if they don't fill out that form, I know they're not interested. So then I go into my CRM, and then I send them over an email that says, hey, we sent you over this, but you didn't fill this out. Here's some more information. And then it's like, now we're doing that sequence on an email, but then we can do that on the Facebook chatbot. We already have them on the Pixel. We can already retarget them. There's just so many things that I do. But to answer your question, on the Facebook Messenger ad, not the Facebook chatbot, 2 separate things. So Facebook Messenger ad, I will make a graphic or a video and call the attention to like the bottom right hand side to where that says send message and make it very, very obvious. And then where you put like the headline where it's like, this is my awesome headline. Instead of whatever that is, I will have a call to action. So like buy back your hours is my call to action on my outsourcing stuff. Buy back your hours, and then I have like the finger emojis going this way. So it would be to the bottom right, whichever, what I'm talking about, pointing this way. So it's like going there. So it's always like the fingers pointing to that call to action, and then they hit that send. And then when they hit that send, automatically they have a conversation with my chatbot. Then I qualify them, or they qualify themselves, and then my chatbot guides them to the appropriate channels, and I make a lot of money.
Okay, so on the video views, your goal is comment below, and you'll put them into a chatbot.
Sometimes it's a click here to sign up for our webinar. It just kind of depends. I'm very, very flexible, and this is where there's no one cookie cutter. There's multiple ways to skin a cat, but in my experience, video views are the least expensive. They're great for retargeting, and the retargetings are awesome. For example, if somebody watches 75% of that main video of that virtual assistant speaking really good English, then I will straight up say, it'll be a picture of me, like, you know, saying, why are you doing your own work? Basically calling them dumb. Send me a message now. Talk, you know, let's have a conversation. And they do it. And it's like a really hard close. And now we're moving into like a different marketing and sales world where people don't want to be sold and people don't want to have conversations anymore. They want to go to landing pages. They want to like see what's there, make a buying decision, watch a video. That's kind of what people are moving towards, you know, slowly, but that's kind of where we're getting there. And the chatbots are accelerating that like crazy because people are like for your insurance business, okay, are you a single person? Are you married? Okay, what's your income? How many dependents do you have? And now you can give them really precise information and then get precise information from them about who they are and then market to them specifically. So for your insurance companies, and I don't know anything about it, I'm just making examples right now. So let's say you have a single man versus a married man. The single man, you can market to him about, hey, take care of your health, blah, blah, blah. But the married man, you can say, take care of your kids. And that's a super specific message to that person that he's going to really resonate with.
Okay. Awesome.
It goes deep.
Man, I'm pretty sure me and Ben are on the same path, so I don't even talk to each other. I think we have the same ideas. I love it.
I got another question here that came to me from Steam, not even Facebook. Can you ask him what he uses for video creation? If he recommends any online resources or if you know.
Good question.
Video creation using Camtasia, what are you using?
So for my interviews, I'm using Zoom just to kind of do that kind of stuff. And I record my trainings. I'll use that. Zoom will give you the little like you see right now, or I don't know what you guys see, but the little box, and you can share your screen. So I use that for my trainings. And then I have a green screen and I have some like studio lights and a DSLR, and I'll record some videos. I'll send it to my virtual assistant. We'll edit it. We'll, you know, change the green screen. I don't know how to do all that stuff. I just kind of like talk and they do everything else. So,
for your ads,
do you outsource any videos, like for creative videos? I think is also what he's asking. You know how you see like online animated videos, you see people who put videos together without knowing someone in person. Video creation can be really expensive when it's done well. They deserve it, obviously, but you know, I think he's asking more resources like that.
Right. Well, this is where I got to say, luckily I put myself through like public speaking and got certified with Toastmasters. So like I'm my own talent and I have my own in-house like person to do all this stuff. So like we ever need something, I got us. Like let's make it happen. If you're not in that position and you maybe are working with a business owner that doesn't want to be on camera, like I just picked up a client who is in a winery. Shout out to my boy Danny out in Wimberley, Texas. So, you know, he's a really good guy, but he doesn't want to be like, he's really humble. He doesn't want to be in front of the camera. But what we're doing is instead of like, so these explaining videos and like all these like whiteboard videos, I hate those. And here's why. If you see my face, even if there's no sound, because you see my eyes, because you like your brain processes my skull shape, you know that I'm a human being. And now I'm going to get a little bro science on you guys, but I know you guys are going to be there with me. So our brains are hardwired for 40,000 years ago in a 40-person tribe. If you are either listening to my voice or seeing me for longer than a few seconds, your brain has made a decision. And the decision that it had to make was, this is somebody that I don't know. Do I want to replicate with them? Do I want to kill them? Or do I want to run away? Or do I want to join them? You know, they want to be their ally. Are we in the same tribe? Because those were the decisions that our reptile brains were making 40,000 years ago. And now we got all this social media and all this stuff, and we have antiquated hardware for this whole new society. So I always like to put a human being on there because people will trust a human being more. So that's just my personal thought. I never, ever, ever, ever run with the animated whatever. And if somebody kind of gives me some pushback, I tell them, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, we live in 2017. Do you know why Circuit City is out of business? And they're like, because they gave bad customer service. Why do you think they gave bad customer service? Because you had to call the 800 number, and people don't want to deal with bots. People don't want to deal with whatever. People want to deal with people, and they're going to know, like, and trust people. And Mr. Business Owner or Mrs. Business Owner, shout out to all my lady bosses, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner, you have tasked me with the challenge of getting and attracting cold traffic and compelling them to take action and spend money with your business, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner. And for me to put the best message out to the marketplace, I'm doing the hyper targeting. I'm doing the emojis. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And I need some help from you, damn it. Give me a model. Give me an actor. Give me an actress. Let's make it happen. If not, you get yourself on camera because people want to do business with people. And I fight my customers all the time. All the time. They know that I care about their marketing, and I'm never disrespectful, and I speak to their money. I always talk to their money every single time.
Fucking brilliant, man. I think this might have been the fucking most valuable webinar, video, live, whatever that we've fucking done so far. And we've dropped a lot of knowledge, so.
Yeah, man, this has been incredible. My head's spinning. I'm pretty sure me and Ben are probably going to be talking all night already about strategies we can implement immediately. So if you guys didn't catch some of this stuff, go back and rewatch it. This was fucking unbelievable. I mean, he just gave tons of strategy. I know, Frank, you got a bunch of good stuff, that you have to offer. Go get in touch with Frank, get to know him, follow him, look at his stuff. You guys know that we won't bring people on unless we really, vetted them and know and trust. And Frank, incredible shit you dropped here tonight, man. It's been a great day, dude. I mean, we spent, a couple hours together today, man. We had the morning closing out this evening, bro. It's good shit. I love it, man. But yeah, I just wanted, I know we're getting into, 90 minutes here and shit, but yeah, that was incredible. Any last questions or thoughts, guys? Frank, anything?
I just want to say that, I'm really blessed to be here, and I'm really blessed, and I'm very flattered that you guys thought of me highly enough to bring me onto your show, because I truly learned so much from your forum, from your videos. I watch every F It Friday. I watch all of your interviews that you guys do, and I really like to pay attention to what you guys are saying, because I know you guys are the real deal, and it's just a blessing for me to even be considered amongst your guys' ranks. And if you guys are not yet in the business, not BS community, come in. Everybody here is cool as hell. They're a real deal. They'll give you help. There's no egos. There's no courses. There's nothing like that. It's studs helping studs on social media.
Yes. And guys, I know I just mentioned before, definitely look at Frank's stuff. I know, Frank, you got trainings for everything, right? You got all kinds of good shit and value you're giving away. Make sure you guys follow him. Any specific spots you want him to go follow you at, groups you want him to join. Because, again, we vet our people hard. We started this group because this is not that situation. Follow Frank. His shit is real. So what are some spots you want they can, start following you at?
Go to Facebook and go to Talented Mr. Salas and send me a message. You'll find me there.
See the chatbot in action.
Awesome. Well, Balls, let's end this live, man. I think we're done.
Man.
Thanks, everyone who's watching. You guys can stay on if you want. But yeah, so again, if you're watching on the Facebook page, go and join the group. If you're watching on the group and you haven't liked the page, like the page. All our videos are there. Follow Frank, Talented Mr. Salas. Just put that in Facebook. I'm sure it'll come up. If Fucking Friday's tomorrow, so whoever's still watching, Fucking Friday sometime tomorrow, probably around 8 Eastern, 7:30 Eastern, whatever. We'll figure it out, and we'll be live where you can ask questions directly and just hang out. Thanks, guys, for watching, and thanks, Frank, for being on. We'll talk later.
Yeah. See you guys.